Hello and welcome to the inaugural video from the Disfinity channel on YouTube. I'm Mr. Disfinity and I welcome you to this channel and hope you enjoy the content that I'm going to offer through over the videos that I do with Disney Infinity. I decided I wanted to do this on the 10th anniversary of Disney Infinity, and so happy anniversary for Disney Infinity. Just as a short thing before I continue with this video, to share with you just a little bit about my journey with Disney Infinity, my family's journey. We became familiar with Disney Infinity quite a few years ago when my son picked up a Disney Infinity pad from a thrift store and then started purchasing a few different figures and the game for our PS4. And since then, we have been hooked, me particularly, my children to a lesser extent, but they enjoy it a little bit as well. But I have decided that I wanted to create things with Disney Infinity, and that's the thing that I know that a lot of you enjoy about Disney Infinity as well. So I thought it was only appropriate. We are just about a week out from the launch of Disney Plus Ahsoka series. And so, though I didn't bring Ahsoka along, I have brought along Sabine Wren so that we can do this little bit of a walkthrough of this map. Now, one of the things with the Mr. Disfinity channel, the Disfinity channel that I'm going to be doing, is a lot less of the coding and the programming, a lot more of mapping and creating maps. One of the things that I enjoy and I find myself doing, whether I'm watching a Disney Infinity show or a Disney Plus show,
You know what this
whether
place
that's
needs? Explosives.
other than a Star Wars series or um, a Marvel series or a movie, one of the things I find myself doing is trying to figure out a map and how I would be able to create a map. So this, I have decided to create a map of Lothal from the Rebels TV series, as well as now what will be likely the happening, from what I can tell from the trailers, happening for the Ahsoka series. So we're going to do a little bit of a walkthrough. I will do a flyover afterwards in Spark mode. But one of the things I wanted to be able to first talk about with this is, as we go through this, is this I owe a lot of the credit for the way that this particular map looks to Professor Toybox and his Aladdin map. If you haven't seen his Aladdin map, go look at it because you'll see a lot of similarities. If you've already seen Professor Toybox's Aladdin map, you'll see a lot of similarities there to that. One of the things we have created that we did, and I say right after saying all of that, I don't know what I just did. Mike, I apologize. I do not know what we did. Oh, we did it to be able to unlock the. There we go. Oh, I thought we did it to be able to unlock that. I'm gonna see what it does. I apologize. My kids programmed this and I thought I knew what it did. There we go. Oh, but it does it really quickly. That was what happened. So we'll get in here and see if we can hack the terminal. And we'll hack it here. There we go. And as we come in here, I do not know how a random citizen made it into the walls here. But that random citizen was not supposed to come in here. We'll make sure that she moves her way back on out. Throw her over there. One of the games that we have played in here that we were starting to set up was to be able to bring in a whole bunch of stormtroopers. One of the things you're seeing is there's some gears. This was one of the games that my daughter started to create to be able to fix the ghost we have the ghost on the outskirts of the city, and we made it to where she has started programming. She's a lot better at the programming than I am, of programming the ghost or a game to be able to set it up to where you can fix the ghost so that you can leave. And I'll go over to that spot in just a moment. One of the other things that I did do was create the road, and we're gonna explore that road. It's one of my favorite parts of this particular map. But as I was saying before, this is very, very similar to the Aladdin map. Not the footprint isn't the same, but there are a lot of things that are very, very similar.
Okay.
I love that we have band members that can play stuff, but they really don't play stuff. There are all of the different trinkets that you'd be able to pick up in the game. I just picked them up. That you'd be able to do when you start the game for getting the ghost and helping to fix the ghost, helping Hera to fix the ghost. So we have a couple of different things, the droid thing and a couple of things. There's the ghost right here on the outskirts of the city. And this would be the game once we get it set up. We'll have all those moved out of the way as well. But you'd be able to go and you could talk to Hera. We're indebted to you.
Face it, I totally rocked it.
So we haven't quite got all of the programming, you can tell, figured out. One of the other things that you're going to notice as I do future videos of Star Wars properties, of various Star Wars maps, is that there are a lot. One of the things that I think is very important to the Star Wars universe and creating the Star Wars feel are the power cables that go across the streets. And so you'll see that I've done that. And the way that we make those work or make them stylized is I stylize them based off of the electrical one for all of the slides. And we just use the slide rails and then stylize it based off of that. You can see there's a lot of different things that were brought in from the interior. Each of those pieces and those pieces were all brought in from the interior. We wanted to make sure that there was also Meluron and Joja fruit that are there, so we did that as well and brought those in from the interior. So I want to go do one quick game really quickly, kind of go the short route here. And that game is that you could set it up and go take a speeder bike for a test drive on the highway outside of Lothal City. And I really like it because I think they've done a really good job with that. One of the things before I start that I wanted to just talk about is the style that I used for the terrain is from the Zootopia terrain, and the Sky Dome that I've used is the Tomorrowland Sky Dome. So those I think are the best ones to use, and you'll see that as we get going. But I really wanted the road to look a lot like the road, and I feel like it's done a great job. In fact, when I saw the trailer for the Ahsoka series, I was really excited at how much the road from My Disney Infinity map here really looked a lot like the road that was in the trailer. Especially when you add the lights in there and you have the gates or the fences that are there. You could program that to be able to have a game, to where you could do a racing game. I know that 72 Pringle has a tutorial that he has set up on how to be able to create a race. He did the Boonta Eve Classic, and when he set that one up, he made it to where you can do a race without a gate, but on this one you actually could do a racing gate on it. The only problem is you wouldn't be able to. You'd be racing against cars instead of time or clock. And so you can set it up to where you can race against the clock here and do three different laps. It's a very, very basic route. There's not a lot of curves or anything like that, but it really kind of makes it fun. Seeing how well you can utilize this is one that you would be wanting to know how well you could utilize your boosts that you pick up as you go around the corners and things like that. I'm not really the best of drivers, and I know that some of the other Disney Infinity YouTubers like Professor Toybox have a similar malady in being able to do that. So this is, we'll take it back, especially when I drive it slow. Bring it back in, we'll park it back in the location. Then we'll do a quick flyover. One of the things I did add, you can see I've added in a few people, a few townspeople to do this, and some droids to be wandering, just to make it just a little bit more exciting or enjoyable. I wanted to go back really quickly. I didn't show too much that I had Hera, and we also decided to use one of the droids that's the closest looking one to Chopper, to be able to use Chopper there at that. I don't know why my daughter put a hamburger in there, but there's a hamburger there as well. And the other thing that's really funny is we took and let me see if I can pick it up. There we go. We took a Tuca, which is essentially a Lothcat, and have a bunch of Tuca running around as well. So let's go through and do just a quick aerial view of the city. I only did one side when I did the walkthrough, but we can do a quick aerial view here so that you can see, and we'll get it into Spark mode, so that you can see. Again, like I said, the Sky Dome that I'm using is the Tomorrowland Sky Dome, and a couple of different reasons I did that. I kind of wanted to have it look very similar, especially as you come into the city, look at similar in the background, as well as I just feel like with all of the fields that are there in Tomorrowland, it's very, very similar to Lothal in the TV series, the Rebels TV series. So I used a lot of pieces from the Aladdin set. That's also part of why it looks like Aladdin. But one of the things, unlike the Aladdin set, especially if you go and look at a lot of the things that Professor Toybox has done, he obviously leaves the windows and doors in there. I am one that I really, if I'm borrowing, and you'll see this on some of my other play sets later on, or some of my other toy boxes later on, I really get kind of bothered if there's too many, sometimes any, windows or doors that are from, and you can see a couple of them that are right down there, that are from other play sets, or that look like they're not part of the Star Wars universe. So I will cover those oftentimes with just a regular piece of block, and then I will style that block to look like something from Star Wars. Sometimes I'll use it like up on top here to look almost like signage. Other times I will do it for doors down at the bottom to make them look like they are metal doors of some sort that are covering those, so that you don't have too much. It just feels, I feel like sometimes when you do that, it just kind of takes you out of the universe that you're trying to create, the world that you're trying to create. So I've used a couple of different dome arches, things like that, and kept it very, very flat, very basic. If you look and Google, there is a a screenshot that is kind of almost at this angle right here of Lothal. If you Google that, I apologize, my editing skills will improve, but for right now I can't grab that screenshot and put it into my video here, so I can't show you. But if you Google that and Google Lothal, you'll actually see this is kind of what I did. I used it for this, and so these are very similar to what Lothal looks like in there was an aerial shot of Lothal in one of the Rebels episodes. So that's actually what I have done for this, to try to get that feel. Obviously, again, the floor, the ground that I'm using, the terrain, is not the same, but I feel like it's the best that we can use. If you don't have the power disc for the Zootopia, you can instead use the Wally, but you also need the power disk for Wally as well. So if you don't have either of those, I would say that you could probably use the Pirates the Buried Treasure theme, or you could also use the Desert theme for this as well. And I'm not talking about the Tatooine one. You don't want to use the Tatooine. You want to use the desert one that or Carburetor County. Any of those would actually work for this. We created just the big complex over here to make it look like a complex that was in the center part of the city. And like I had said, we were going to well, a couple of different spots. We had put at one point we put an auto turret. The problem is if you're just walking around without programming those auto turrets to not turn on, they're just going to shoot and shoot and shoot. So you could add that in and have the auto turrets on the corner. And the other thing that really kind of makes it kind of fun is we were trying at one point to do it as though we were thinking of doing something as though there were an escape that was happening, and a bunch of stormtroopers showing up. You could use an enemy wave generator for that and create the enemy wave generator. I think we actually were starting that, which is why we have the locator piece right there. And I think we actually did put in an enemy wave generator. I don't know what that one is, but we started with a couple of different things. Um, but like I said, I want to focus and make the majority of my videos be focused on how to create the map and just kind of show you what the maps look like, not necessarily even give a breakdown piece by piece of those maps, but to give you just a view of what the maps look like so that you can create something similar. I think one of the best things about Disney Infinity is even when being able to see what someone's map looks like, um, being able to take it and make it your own, kind of like what I did by seeing the map that was created by Professor Toybox, and then just giving it a little bit of a Star Wars flair to it and making it our own. Isn't that the beauty of the Disney Infinity? It really is being able to take things, make them your own, customize it, and have literally an infinite ways of being able to make these come alive. Just a couple of quick pointers on here as well. Because I lifted up the road is up just a block higher than the rest of the terrain. Make sure that you have all the way around blocks that are blocking off the route, so that you don't have, you can see some under there, so that you don't have townspeople wandering or droids wandering underneath there and kind of getting themselves lost up underneath the road. You can see that even down there on the road. And one other thing that I did create is there are no curved gates and no curved fences, and so I put in the barrier along the curves just so you don't end up losing yourself over the edge, because that's a long way down and then it makes you have to restart, and you don't want to do that. So that is my very first introduction here. I hope that you enjoy this video. I will be posting some more over the next couple of weeks so that we can work on just showing you a few of the different maps that I have created. One of the ones, stay tuned, I'm going to be starting a couple of Marvel ones, and a few of those include Madripoor from Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I will be posting a video that has my helicarrier that I have created. I've done a full deluxe helicarrier from the Marvel Cinematic Universe, as well as the hideout from Shang-Chi, the Ten Rings compound in Shang-Chi. Within the Star Wars universe, I will be going to Adelphi, which was featured in the third season of The Mandalorian, and we will also be going to a few of the locations that were featured in the Andor series, amongst other things. I have started another series as well that I am working on after watching 72 Pringles uh, video series, or video about the um, I'm drawing a blank all of a sudden about the Boonta Eve Classic. I thought, wouldn't it be nice to be able to do some pod races? And so I've started a couple of different Star Wars locations for pod races, and we'll do some pod races and some other types of races to be able to show you some different tracks or some different courses that you could have for some pod racing or some maybe even some um, of the speeder bike races. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you did please like the video. Um, I wouldn't even be disappointed in a subscribe. I'm not expecting to get 4,000 subscribers like Professor Toybox has, but I am looking forward to being able to share some Disney Infinity map ideas with you. This is Mr. Disfinity, and wishing you the best and having fun. Hope that you're having fun with your Disney Infinity making and building, and we'll see you next time.